What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a video today on this 2010 Chevy Impala 3.5 liter. This came in, actually was towed in because it had a light with a message come on the dash. It's gone now, but it was right down here in the message center near the odometer. And what it was saying was, as soon as you would start the car up, it would say engine hot, AC off, or something similar. I've seen a few different messages. Engine hot, turn AC off, and so on. So first thing I did is put my scan tool on it, and it did have a code P0128, which is for basically engine temperature below what the thermostat wants to see. So that's indicating low temperature, which seems kind of backwards that the message would say the engine's hot, even though this is as soon as you start a snow-covered car out in the cold, that message comes on. So a couple things I wanted to touch on is that it did not have a check engine light, but it did have a check engine code related to that message alone. And I think what I'm seeing is that's pretty standard, where if that message is on, it will have a code and also not have a check engine light. So make sure to check your codes. In my case, it was a PO128. And reason I say that is the first thing I wanted to do is try to replace my engine coolant temperature sensor, which is way down in there. You've probably seen all sorts of videos on that. But I'm glad that I didn't, because what I realized is that this is a thermostat issue. And so what I'll tell you is there's a couple different ways you can rule or narrow down what's going on. With your scan tool attached, you can watch the coolant temperature. And for example, mine, when I pulled it in, was 50 degrees or whatever. Slowly went up to 66, 70, 80, 90, as it should. And the gauge also corresponded to that. When I watched the gauge as the car was warming up, it came up as well. One thing you'll have to do is you'll notice that the fan is running at all times when that message is present or when that code is present. As soon as I cleared my codes, the fan shut off. And so that's going to be another thing you'll want to do to help the car warm up for your troubleshooting, is clear the code so that the fan shuts off and actually can warm up and you can do some more testing and things. Another test that I did to narrow down is it the thermostat or not is that without the car even being fully warmed up, I think it was at about 100 degrees, or I'll show you on the gauge where it was at. Just above the second dash there. So in the middle, generally speaking, is going to be operating temp. I was below that point, and even at that point, both hoses were hot. Or I shouldn't say hot, but they were both the same warm temperature. Here's the upper hose. This is the engine right here. Coolant flows here. And then down here, try to put some light on this for you. Right down here is the lower hose, and that's attached to the thermostat housing. And it was the same temperature before the vehicle was at operating temp. It was the same temperature as the upper hose. So what that's telling me is the thermostat is stuck open because it's allowing coolant to flow at all times between the engine and the radiator. In turn, both hoses are the same temp. The way that it should be operating, if it was working correctly, is our hose coming off the thermostat housing would be cold until the engine reaches operating temperature. Then the thermostat opens. It allows that hot coolant that's been circulating in the engine to now flow through the radiator. And so what you would notice is that as the gauge came up with the vehicle running, as soon as it reached nearly the middle, you'd go from having a warm hose on the top and cold on the bottom to now the lower hose becomes the same temperature. And as I said, mine was not doing that. Both of mine were the same temperature all the way up until it hasn't even warmed up yet. So I know that my thermostat's stuck open. The reason that's causing a low coolant message or a code I should say, P0128, engine below thermostat regulating temperature, is that it's never able to fully warm up properly because that coolant that should be warming up in the engine and then be released by the thermostat is flowing all the time with the fan running through the radiator, and it's keeping things excessively cool. So we're going to go ahead and get this thermostat replaced. There are other videos on doing that. I just wanted to give these couple tips on narrowing down your AC off, engine hot message and your P0128 code. So thanks for watching. Hope you found the video helpful. You can leave any comments you have down below. Otherwise, like and subscribe as always, and we'll see you on the next one.